When you cross 60, people often say, well, that's just aging, old boy. Expect less energy, weaker muscles, maybe even a slower mind. And I'll admit, I believed that myself for years. But here's the shocker. It wasn't just aging. It was something I never thought much about: testosterone. Yes, men have it in spades when they are young, but after 60, levels can plummet, sometimes by half compared to your 30s. And the effects? I was living them: morning fatigue, stubborn belly fat, a nagging lack of drive. Even my memory wasn't as sharp as it used to be. But instead of giving in, I decided to test something different. What if the foods on my plate could help me naturally reclaim a slice of my old vitality? What if I could eat in a way that nudged testosterone back up, without expensive pills or risky injections? Today, I want to share the foods that surprised me, the science behind them, and the real changes I noticed. Stick around, because some of these testosterone-boosting foods are things you'd never expect. I'll never forget sitting in my doctor's office about 5 years ago. She tapped her pen against my blood test results and said, "Edward, your testosterone levels are lower than average for your age. But I don't want to rush you into prescriptions just yet. Let's see what lifestyle and diet can do." Now, I'm no stranger to health fads. I've lived through decades of them. Grapefruit diets, cabbage soup diets, protein shakes promising to keep you young forever. But this time, it felt personal. I didn't want a miracle pill. I wanted a way of eating that gave me strength, confidence, and focus again. So, I began my little experiment. Over months, I swapped, added, and cut foods. And what I found shocked me. Not only did I feel better, but the changes were visible. My energy came back, my waistline trimmed slightly, and even my mood felt brighter. Let me take you through what I discovered. First on the list, oysters. Now, I used to think oysters were just for fancy dinners or anniversaries. But here's the truth. They are one of the richest sources of zinc, and zinc is absolutely critical for testosterone production. Low zinc is strongly linked to low testosterone, and after 60, our bodies don't absorb minerals as efficiently as they used to. That's why so many older men are unknowingly deficient. So, I made a change. Twice a month, I treated myself to oysters or mussels. And within weeks, something interesting happened. My recovery after morning walks improved. I wasn't as stiff or sore the next day. Even something as simple as grip strength, carrying grocery bags up the stairs, felt stronger. It wasn't dramatic, but it was noticeable. It felt like my body was getting the fuel it had been missing all along. And here's a fun twist. Oysters also contain dopamine-boosting amino acids. Dopamine and testosterone. They are best mates, they rise together. So yes, the old rumor about oysters being an aphrodisiac has some truth to it after all. The next discovery was something I never expected: pomegranate juice. Most mornings, I'd pour a small glass of orange juice. But one day, I came across a study where pomegranate was linked to a 24% increase in salivary testosterone levels in men. The key was twofold. It improved blood flow and reduced cortisol, the stress hormone that actually sabotages testosterone. So, I swapped my nightly glass of wine for a small glass of pomegranate juice instead. Within 2 months, I noticed deeper sleep and more refreshing mornings. And yes, I'll be honest, there was another subtle but important improvement in my vitality that I hadn't felt in years. Here's the surprising science. Pomegranates contain compounds that improve nitric oxide production in the body. That means better circulation. And better circulation is everything, not just for heart health, but for maintaining strength and confidence as a man. Now let's talk about olive oil. Everyone knows it's good for the heart, but what I didn't know is that healthy fats are the raw materials your body uses to make testosterone. I grew up in an era where fat was demonized. Margarine instead of butter, low-fat milk, sugar-laden cereal instead of eggs. But those low-fat decades were actually starving our hormones. I switched from butter and vegetable oils to cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, and something unexpected happened. Not only did my cholesterol improve, but my afternoon crashes disappeared. Instead of dozing off after lunch, I stayed steady, alert, and focused. There's even research from Spain showing that men who consumed more olive oil had higher levels of testosterone compared to those who didn't. It's proof that the Mediterranean diet isn't just good for your heart, it's quietly supporting your hormones too. And then, dark chocolate. Yes, chocolate. Now, don't get me wrong, most chocolate is junk. But high cocoa dark chocolate, the kind that's 80 to 85% cocoa, is loaded with magnesium and flavonoids that support testosterone and blood flow. I swapped out biscuits and cakes for 2 squares of dark chocolate in the evening. It satisfied my sweet tooth, and after a few weeks, I realized my post-exercise soreness had eased. Magnesium, after all, isn't just good for testosterone, it's essential for muscle recovery, heart rhythm, and even better sleep. That was one of the best surprises of all. A treat food that actually works for you, not against you. Now, beyond these surprises, there are other staples I worked into my routine. Eggs, the yolk contains cholesterol, which your body converts into testosterone. I eat them soft-boiled most mornings. Leafy greens like spinach full of magnesium, they help free up testosterone in the bloodstream. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines, rich in vitamin D and omega-3s, both critical for hormones and brain health. Nuts, especially almonds and walnuts, they provide healthy fats, but also selenium, another mineral tied to testosterone. But remember, it's not just about what you add. It's about what you cut. I had to make some tough choices too. Processed foods. Out. Sugary snacks. Cut way back. Too much alcohol. Replaced with pomegranate juice or green tea. Why? Because sugar spikes insulin, and high insulin suppresses testosterone. Alcohol, in excess, raises estrogen. And processed seed oils, like soybean or canola oil, create inflammation that chokes hormone production. Once I cleared those weeds out of my diet, the healthy foods I added really had a chance to shine. It was like clearing the garden before planting new seeds. Now, let me be very clear, none of these foods are magic bullets. Testosterone does decline with age, and that's natural. But by adding foods like oysters, pomegranate, olive oil, and dark chocolate, I gave my body the raw materials it needed to do its job. The result? More energy, a sharper mind, a steadier mood, and a stronger sense of who I am, even in my mid-60s. It's not about turning back the clock. It's about living this chapter with vitality and dignity. So, if you're over 60 and wondering why you're more tired, why the belly won't budge, or why your confidence feels dulled, it may not just be aging. It may be your testosterone whispering for help. Start with your plate. Try one of these foods this week. Notice how you feel. Because small changes can add up to a powerful difference. I'm Eddy, your golden years guru. Together, we're not just surviving these years, we're thriving in them. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe, and let's keep building strength and vitality, one meal at a time.